All right, friends, it's T-Man, and I'm back with a new video, man. It's on Greg Doucette. Greg Doucette says, Sam Sulek, Sam Dauda. Yeah, man, the gym lifting, recruiting lifting slave, the steroid, I would say steroid slave for sure, Greg Doucette. And the rest of these people, man, they're all steroid slaves, man. So what does the steroid slave say, Greg Doucette? He says, Sam Sulek, you need to listen to Samson Dauda. Why does he need to listen to him? For what purpose? For what purpose?
Sam Sulek gets schooled by Samson Dauda. Coach Reg, in today's video, Sam Sulek gets schooled by Samson Dauda. Samson Dauda takes Sam Sulek under his wing and puts him through an entire chest workout. And throughout the video, he tells him he's training wrong. And remember...
Wow, he's training wrong. They're both on steroids, right? But guess what? Well, he just looks the way he does on steroids, and he looks the way he does because he's doing it wrong. What the fuck, man?
Samson Dauda is very experienced. He's one of the best bodybuilders in the entire world. Sam Sulek, only 21 years.
Yeah, he's quite experienced steroid user, steroid bodybuilder, steroid fake bodybuilder, whatever in the world. Yeah, man. I don't know. I personally, it doesn't matter what you do on steroids. I told you I have friends on steroids before in the past. I knew a lot of people on steroids back then, back in the 80s and 90s. And I'm going to tell you right now, it didn't really matter what the fuck they did, they said. They just got big. They would eat shit all day, and they still got big, and they would work out. Their workouts were frivolous, they told me, and they still blew up. Why? Because there's two types of hypertrophy. People don't understand there's two types. Do you know what type you're getting? See what I mean? There's not just one type of hypertrophy. There's more ways to hypertrophy than one. Look, if you keep coming in the gym adapted, getting an inflammatory response, like the majority of people that do come into the gym, you get inflamed. That's hypertrophy. You're hypertrophying. And then when it starts to subside, it goes down. Before it even goes down, you come back and you inflame it again, the muscles. So you walk around with inflamation and inflammatory response all the time. I'm not joking, man. If you take some time off, walk around, and take a lot of time off from the gym, notice how you feel like you're deflated or something. Because really what you're doing is inflaming your muscles with inflammation. That's the problem. Then there's, blood flow restriction and a whole bunch of other stuff, lactic acid buildup, or the pump, which is transient, and then there's sarcoplasmic. Two, it's artificial, it's based on ATP, energy source. So, man, there's all kinds of ways to inflame your muscles, and these are not permanent things. The phony ways. You know that?
Of age, and so I hope he takes his advice. Samson Dauda wants the best for Sam Sulek, and he's giving him advice.
I can tell you right now, Sam Sulek doesn't really look, when you look at him, he looks really puffy. I could tell he's really puffy, like really sarcoplasmic. Man, you know that? But anyways, it's hard to tell sometimes, I guess, from myofibrillar to sarcoplasmic. It could be difficult, yes, for a good majority of people. They wouldn't know the difference.
That he needs to listen to. You probably already know this, but Sam Sulek likes to train extremely heavy, taking many of his sets to failure and perhaps not using the best technique. Jeff Nipper did an extensive analysis of his lifting, said 96 to 98% of his sets were done to failure.
I can tell you right now, he's not really growing, Sam Sulek. Look at his channel when he first started and where he ended up now. He looks exactly the exact same weight. He's always saying, oh, I'm 250, 250, 250. Yeah, he's always 250. Oh, he's, well, how would I look if I got bigger, this and that? So try and get bigger. Why isn't he getting any bigger? See what I mean? His drugs have adapted to whatever exercise he's doing. To his exercises. His body's adapted to these exercises, and so is his drugs. His body has adapted to the drugs. That's totally different. His body is adapted to these drugs. How does it adapt? By protecting itself from the molecule working in your body by shutting down these receptors. Certain receptors, certain things, that's what it does.
Beyond, and that he was not prioritizing certain body.
Again, you can get more of this sarcoplasmic hypertrophy if he was focused on that more, then he can get more of it. Why he's not focused on it enough? That is based on glycogen loading. See what I mean? that isn't based on myofibular growth. So can he get a lot more bigger? Yeah, because it's not regulated by follistatin, myostatin, or satellite cell, or has anything to do with an adaptability of steroids.
Parts effectively, that he was doing too many sets for some exercise, not enough for another. Let's listen to Samson Dauda with no hold barred telling Sam Sulek exactly what he's doing wrong.
I'm fully carved up because I'm bulking, so I think this might be the only time we'll be able to lift comparable weights.
See, I'm fully carved up because I'm bulking. Where in science does it say that carbs build muscles? It says protein synthesis needs to exceed this breakdown to build muscle. It doesn't say that protein synthesis needs to exceed carbohydrate breakdown to exceed this breakdown, whatever. You understand me? I don't know what the hell these people are thinking in their head. I told you, his muscle is sarcoplasmic, a lot of it, both of these guys. And in a shirt, he doesn't look too different here than this Douda dude, but anyways, I don't know. Whatever, I don't think he's taller than Sam. I'm not sure. These guys are kind of short, right? Usually these bodybuilders like Sam Dauda. But yeah, he looks pretty, but he's pretty bulky, Sam Dauda, because he's been at it longer.
And so Sam Sulek, he's fully carved up, and I can vouch for that. I watched him walk around with Papa John's pizza throughout the...
See, he could vouch for it. He walks around with Papa John pizza. He's all fully carved up. Carbs do not build muscles, but they will build phony sarcoplasmic muscles, artificial muscle growth. Yes.
Weekend, he's leaving no stone unturned. He's eating more...
And for those who don't believe me, look it up on Google, man. It's artificial muscle growth.
Calories than last time, but is he in fact training correctly? We are going to soon see exactly what Samson Dauda thinks.
You're doing manifestation wrong, and I can prove it.
Get nice and warmed up, get that joints in. I've spent the last how many weeks just training and talking. So today we're first going to give you guys a brief insight on what chest workout looks like.
And so Samson Dauda's advice, start out nice and light. Don't hurt your joints. Be very careful.
I've actually seen this workout already previously. I saw it actually when he worked out with Sam Dauda. I was trying to tell him what to do.
Want to ego lift in the gym. You want to make sure you don't get injured.
120s is not the first set. I've been kind of warming up a little bit already.
And so notice the difference in weight.
He doesn't need to. He can go directly heavy. What's the purpose of going light?
Samson Dauda saying take your time, lift very light weights. He's lifting perhaps...
Oh, he's still trying to eke out some adaptations with a heavier weight, even if he is on steroids.
60, 70 pounds. Sam Sulek then grabs the 120s. Now remember, it's not his first set, but notice the intensity. This is not his final set. He's working up. He's pyramiding up in weights. And when you pyramid up in weight, you leave a little bit in the tank. You don't go to failure. You're saving going to failure for your last and final set when you're going to give it harder than last time. Even Jeff Nippert said perhaps 1 out of every 3 sets should...
Jeff Nippert's on steroids. Who cares what he says? They're all on steroids, these people. It's not going to work for the average gym goer. You know that? You understand me?
Be done and taken to failure. And notice as he does the exercise, he's not getting full range of motion. In particular, he's not going all the way down. And I can say based on the literature, based on the science...
He doesn't have to go all the way down. He's saving it for going heavier. He just doesn't want to get injured. He wants to. He's working his way up to the heaviest weight. Greg.
Stretch at the bottom portion of the rep.
If he stretches at the bottom before he gets to the heaviest weight, he'll be weak. So he won't be able to eke out the heavier weight, you dumbass.
Very important. Long length partials, perhaps even better than doing full range of motion. And so we're going to be lenient with him not pressing the weight all the way up. Perhaps he doesn't want to go all the way up. When you go towards the...
Perhaps he doesn't want to go up. What a shitty coach. You don't understand lifting at all, Greg. What the fuck's the matter with you? The reason why he's lifting semi-heavy here and then he goes really heavy to the 120s is because he's saving it for when he can max out an adaptation, you dumbass.
Top, you're getting more tricep focus at the end, and so perhaps he's want to keep constant...
He's still getting some stretch there. There's an eccentric movement still going down.
Tension on the chest, but notice he's not going all the way down. And why do you think that is? If he were to go all the way down, do you think he would get as many reps as the way he's doing?
He's going down pretty much. That's pretty down. That's pretty down, Greg. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see you do that.
right now. He's ego lifting, doing partial reps so that he can lift.
He's not ego lifting. He's working his way up to lifting a heavier weight so he can eke out an adaptation, you dumbass. You might as well use the steroids to its full effect, right? If you are going to take it.
Heavier. And so notice the rep cadence. Is he going slower on the way down and the way up? Remember, the eccentric or downward phase, the bar should be going slower. Concentric, you can explode up. Is he pausing the weight? Is he exhibiting amazing control of the movement? Is he using a proper mind-muscle connection?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty good. His workouts are pretty good, actually, to tell you the truth.
Is he doing time under tension? Or is he just ego lifting in the gym? And so notice he only gets 5.
How could that be ego lifting if he's working his way up to the heaviest weight? What are you talking about?
Reps warming up for his last attempt. What I recommend.
That ego lifting? Well, he's not doing it for one rep now, is he? He's repping these weights out. So how is that ego lifting? Or whatever.
And is to do higher reps on the first set and each set go gradually lower. For example, on set number 1 with a...
Yeah, that's how you do it. You do high reps. You keep your sets relatively low, your sets, and you do high repetitions. You start with the highest repetition, and then you work your reps in reverse. Not, I got to do drop sets. Well, the fuck would you go back to doing a light weight? You're adapted. You want to get an adaptation, so you got to work your way up, like you just said, pyramiding. He's pyramiding up, not down.
Lightweight, you perhaps do 15 repetitions. Set 2, you could do 12 repetitions. Set 3, you could get 10. And
That's right, Greg. That's right, you dumbass, you piece of crap.
on the final set, harder than last time to failure, perhaps you're getting 8 reps only. But Sam, he's preferring to do only 5 reps. This is essentially how powerlifters like to train, but remember...
I go for the heaviest weight right away. I don't waste my time because I know on the first stretch, you're going to get weakened. You're going to get an adaptation. Lifting the heaviest weight, moving it for the highest repetitions, and then you can you can lower the reps, but not the weight. See that? Now he's doing it. I wouldn't do it the way he does it. He's working his way up, but he's careful with the stretch, so it doesn't weaken him because he knows psychologically he knows it weakens him. So he's moving heavy to heavier, but he's doing high repetition still. So then he's moving heavy to heavier with high repetition and then lowering the repetition until he gets to the heaviest weight. That could still work, of course.
He's not a powerlifter. Does he not care more about how the muscles look than how strong they are?
Powerlifter, what does that have to do with anything? He's repping weights out. Powerlifters don't rep anything. What are you talking about, Greg?
You see any 140s around?
And so the next set, after doing 120 for 5 repetitions, he's grabbing the 140s. And remember, this isn't his...
Yeah, that's the thing he's trying to eke out adaptations now in real time. If the drugs would allow him, his body
heaviest set.
And his body.
He plans to go heavier than this. He's going to do the 140s. And so notice, he trains to failure. He gets 11, goes for 12. Doesn't get it. That means he went to failure and or beyond. And this was not his planned heaviest set. And so rather than saving some in the tank, he decided to go all out. Remember, on the previous set, he did 5 reps. Would it not have made it more sense to perhaps go for 10 reps with the 120s and then go all out with the 140s, perhaps the 150s, or perhaps just do greater range of motion, pause the weight, and have a greater mind-muscle connection.
I thought I was going to be able to go heavy. That's better, Max. Why are you pushing so heavy?
And so Sam, disappointed, says, I thought I was going to go heavier. I'm disappointed. That's going to have to be my max. And Samson Dauda responds with, why are you pushing so heavy? Why are you lifting these heavy weights?
I don't like it. Yeah, but you got to understand, man, you're not using the muscle you're supposed to be using.
So he can eke out a new adaptation. That's why he's doing it.
You're concerned too much about lifting so heavy that you're not actually pushing your chest out of it.
You're just saying push it up with any means necessary, and that is good enough. Well, maybe at 21, but Samson Dauda, speaking from experience, he's an experienced lifter, he's been training for years, saying you need to be careful. You can, in fact, do better. And so he's not trying to put him down. He's trying to help him by giving him constructive criticism. Many of you hate on Coach Greg, giving out constructive criticism. Hey, maybe you shouldn't drink 4 liters liters of chocolate milk a day, have 5 Guys burgers and fries and donuts in order to bulk up.
Well, that's why I say that a lot of this muscle is fake, man. It's not based on myofibrillar growth, a lot of sarcoplasmic growth. He could be even shrinking his muscle if he doesn't get enough protein that exceeds that breakdown. But that's why he's taking the steroids, right? Because it's going to recycle these proteins and a whole bunch of stuff. They're preserving muscle.
Maybe that's not the best idea. It's not good for your health. It's not good for your blood work. Oh, Coach Greg is a hater. Why? Because I'm trying to teach Sam Sulek and his followers, his millions of fans, that perhaps it's not a smart idea to bulk in such capacity? How is that bad? How is it bad that I'm using Sam Sulek to help people to learn how to eat properly?
It's not bad. You don't know how to eat properly either, Greg. Your book is an anabolic death book. It's all filled with sugar in there. Everything is sugar. And look at our good friend here, Sam Sulek. He's eating sugar all day. What do you think, man, these muscles are? Come on. You think sugar builds myofibrillars?
This is the most full capacity of it. You try to build chest and you try to be strong.
Which is it? Because if it's trying to build your chest, you're lifting too heavy. This is from Samson Dauda. He got second in the Arnold Classic. One of the...
So what? So he got second Arnold Classic. So what, man? Let the guy do his own thing, dude.
Best bodybuilders in the world. It should be an honor, a privilege to even have the opportunity to work out with him.
You gotta think about it.
What? That is fucking bullshit, man.
You're lifting a lot heavier weight in your second set than you should do.
And so Sam, he has no response to this. He just looks at the camera. He has no response. He's listening, waiting to see what Samson will say. He says, you're pushing way too much weight for reps on your second set. You need to save it for your last set. Samson Dauda is making perfect sense. He's trying to help Sam.
When you're pulling that up so much and you're constantly just pulling heavy weight, you have more risk, especially doing free-weight number.
It's not worth it. The chance of getting hurt are extreme. It's not as if it's a machine. He's not controlling the weight enough. He's just trying to push.
Yeah, but he's not doing enough to hurt him, to injure himself. What are you talking about? He's doing enough weight that he knows he can handle it.
Really heavy weights, and it's not worth it. But remember, when you're 21 years of age, your brain isn't fully developed yet. You don't know, you can't relate to the risk versus reward of any given exercise. All you're thinking is, I want to get big, I want to get jacked at any means necessary.
Stop posting every day if you want to grow your Instagram.
Of any given exercise. All you're thinking is, I want to get big, I want to get jacked at any means necessary.
But that's what drugs do to you, don't they, Greg? They make you crazy. They make you lift a heavy weight. That's what these drugs do when you inject them. They make you insanely crazy to lift a heavy weight. That's what they do. Yes, they're drugs. Like cocaine, what does it do when you snort cocaine? It gives you crazy high. You want to run down the street like a maniac. Play soccer all day or some shit.
But Samson Dauda, he's trying to help.
But you have to get your massive different.
So one drug addict wants to help another drug addict. Control yourself on the drugs, man. I know they give you super force capacities, these molecules that you've injected. They give you super force capacity, and that's the driver of adaptations as well. Lifting a heavier weight, going heavier as well, ekes out adaptations, not to mention other exercises. So yes, what do you think he's trying to do? Hello?
I'm getting that motion chest and coming out and getting that contraction.
And so he wants to be deliberate and consistent with his actions. Slowly lower the weight, perhaps pause at the bottom, get rid of the stretch reflex, which is very dangerous for people trying to tear pecs. In particular, if you're abusing performance-enhancing drugs, the tendons, they don't get as strong as...
Are they abusing it, Greg? Are they abusing it? Or are they being monitored by a doctor? I thought that Ronnie Coleman was being monitored by a doctor. A doctor was prescribing the drugs to him. Was he abusing them as well under prescription of a doctor, Greg? You keep saying you're abusing steroids. Are you under prescription of a doctor, Greg, too?
Quickly as the muscles. And so oftentimes people who are abusing drugs, they will often get a pec tear, bicep tear, quad tear, you name it, they are more prone to getting injured. And so if you are in fact not natural, be even more cautious than if you were. And so it takes more patience, it takes a greater man of greater fortitude to use lighter weights in the gym.
Man, if he uses lighter weights, he's not going to get any more adaptations, Greg. Do you understand me in that regard? So what are you talking about?
It's Samson Dauda, who's 50 pounds more muscle than Sam Sulek, is lifting lighter weights. But he doesn't care because...
So you're saying it's not based on myofibrillar natural strength to lift that heavy weight. It's based on chemical strength then. A good majority of people get adaptations in chemical strength myocytic androgen receptors where the molecules can bind to those receptors, giving them more force production. Is that what you're saying? So let me see. So his size is really based on sarcoplasmic, not myofibrillar growth. And his strength is based on chemical strength. And that's why he could tear a muscle, because he never really built any muscle to strength ratio. It's lower. One is lower and the other one is higher. So there you go. So that means that would exceed structural damage. We call that structural damage, right? Yeah, structural damage. Like in DOMS, when you read DOMS Part 1, structural damage. So, yeah, his body's weak, but the lifts are heavy. Because of the molecules. Okay, yeah, he could get injured, yes.
Because he's leaving his ego at the door. That takes balls, that takes courage. It's a lot harder to lighten the weight and go slowly with an exercise than it is to just show off and put as much weight as humanly possible.
What do you think the limit is on necessary weight? Because, like, I don't really think I've ever need to do like 200 or something like that.
And so a great discussion.
Yeah, I guess if you can't see what's inside, then who gives a shit, right? You're taking a shot, might as well lift the heaviest weight. Okay.
And so I hope you understand this. Sam Sulek
That's the path of destruction right there, bro.
is saying, what is the weight limit that I should be putting on? Because after all, if I put on 200 pounds, there's going to be more mechanical tension on the muscle than if I have 140 pounds. And so is it not better to lift more weight? Samson Dauda's response, a great one. He says, your muscles have no...
Yeah, see, he's trying to eke out, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to eke out more adaptations in muscular growth. But Dauda wants him to do lighter weight, high repetitions so he can get more volume, so he can get sarcoplasmic growth. And I know that Sam, in the back of his mind, he's thinking myofibrillar growth. He doesn't want to get more sarcoplasmic, but in reality, that's all he's really getting. In reality, true, he's adapted a lot to these weights and these movements and whatever he's doing right now. And then he's eating a bunch of sugar all day. So what kind of growth do you get when you eat sugar? I don't know, crunch toast, cereal, and donuts, and chocolate milk, and all that all day, sugar all day. Sarcoplasmic, myofibrillar, or sarcoplasmic hypertrophy growth. Yeah.
Idea how much you're actually lifting. The muscle, the pecs, the strands, the tendons do not know exactly how much weight is on that bar. And so
they know how much weight is on there, believe me, and they'll fail at some point. They could rip apart. You can get a real injury, permanent injury, doing that. Structural damage.
if you're lowering it slower or you're lifting it at a different angle, perhaps a bit wider, you're going into a deeper stretch, you're completely changing the dynamics of the muscle. And so rather than thinking the most important factor is how much weight is on that bar, forget that. It's how much are you actually putting into the exercise? What effort are you exerting? If you go through a partial range of motion versus a complete range of motion, it's totally different.
Why doesn't Sam just eat protein all day instead of eating all this sugar? And then he'll find out. He'll find out whether he's building muscle or not, or the amount of muscle that he's carrying in his body. If he goes off of it and goes on a natural diet, a natural like meat, whatever, protein diet, okay? Then eating all these stupid plant foods that are full of sugar and stuff, these phony foods he's eating, these man-made phony foods. And in the end, they will destroy his health in the end, believe me. It'll catch up with him. With the time, it'll catch up with you. He'll have prostate problems, kidney, liver, this, that, heart problems, a whole bunch of shit, man. Skin problems, muscular problems, bone problems in the future.
Doing chest yesterday, which is part of my entire body workout, I only had 2.5 plates on each side of the machine. I used to put 5 plates on each side. And so literally I'm only lifting half of what I used to. But I was using full range of motion, way below, as deep as I could get. And
again, steroids.
Pausing the weight. I was going twice as slow on the eccentric as I was on the concentric. And sure, I could have put 3.5 plates and got the same amount of reps. But rather than that,
it won't matter if you're adapted. Nothing's going to happen there. It's protected now.
I left my ego at the door and used 2.5 plates. That's an entire plate less on each side. That's significantly lighter. But yet, I got a great workout with far less risk of injury. And even today, I can feel the chest, a little bit of tightness in there, meaning I had a great workout. I can tell it's not overly...
There's a little bit of tightness. It's protected, man. Even on steroids, it's protected from growing myofibulars.
Or I can train my chest about every 3 days and recover from that. And so if you want to get an amazing workout, forget ego lifting and do as Samson Dauda recommends.
So when I'm saying that, not because I don't know you're freaking strong enough to lift 200. That's an idea.
What you're doing during the lift is far more important than the number on that bar. And so forget about how much weight you're lifting, and I get it. You're thinking you have to progressive overload. You have to lift more weight for more reps. Bullshit. Progressive overload does not just involve lifting a heavier weight. It can involve slowing the weight down, pausing, greater mind-muscle connection, having better form, greater range of motion.
Contracting this and trying to make this open. You got to make sure that every movement you make, from the point you up here to the point down here, nothing but this takes attention.
And so it's all about contracting the muscle as hard.
Yeah, instead of going here, you got to go here, you got to do that. It'll magically do something. Yes, Mr. Dauda. Okay.
As you can. Even without a weight, I can flex and squeeze. Think of it. When you're front double bicep, people are shaking. Front double bicep, there's no
Greg looks really lean there, eh? Damn.
resistance in my hand. I'm not lifting any weight, but I am in fact doing a very strong isometric contraction.
You want to make sure this takes everything. The more you can do that with every movement, and don't have no weight.
A very strong steroidal contraction. Ha ha ha.
The more growth you're going to consist of.
Time under tension, it's very important. And if you're going through the reps too quickly, you could do 12 reps in, for example, 12 seconds. But if you're trying to train with proper time under
Look how he's bouncing that thing like crazy.
tension, you need to deliberately slow down those exercises, take a bit longer. Each set at minimum should be taking minimum of 2 seconds. And so if you're pounding out 10 reps in 10 seconds, it's way too fast. That's what she said.
Some of the things are so small, you just kind of pound it out. It's more cardio, just you pound out heavy weight. But when you actually contract and break down those fire, open up, that's what causes growth.
Let that sink in a little bit. Samson Dauda.
What? The contraction, that's what causes growth? You mean sarcoplasmic growth? Oh, man.
Giving excellent advice, and many of you are saying just ego lifting.
What's sarcoplasmic? When your body's flowing with this, man, with all these carbohydrates. For every gram of glycogen, 3 grams of water are drawn between the skin and the muscle into the muscle, man. Yeah. Sarcoplasmic.
The gym, that's the way to go. And yes, it's still going to work, but not as good as if you deliberately lift a weight with purpose, with intent to.
Weights don't build muscles, man. They don't build muscles. Contractile proteins do. As protein synthesis exceeds its breakdown, when it exceeds that breakdown, you can push that domain. That's the only time. It's a combination of both have to happen at the same time. Look, man, both have to happen at the same time. Let's say it reaches an M&D size limit, the cells during hypertrophic process. Okay. So protein synthesis exceeds its breakdown, reaches an M&D size limit during hypertrophic process, and you want to force that domain. Well, you still need to get an adaptation to get the progenitor cell to donate its nuclei. Now, I don't know if it would donate it in a hypoxic event. I can't tell you. Let's say you are adapted and you work out and you want to push this domain, and maybe the satellite cell is activated through hypoxia, that type of damage, and it circulates. It just proliferates, but it doesn't differentiate or anything. Will it donate some nuclei to that domain to support further muscle growth in a hypoxic event? I can't tell you. I don't know. I just never said that in science anywhere. I don't know. Maybe, possibility, maybe not. I just know that it ever activates and splits, divides, and increases in number when there's damage because it's repairing now. See what I mean? But what is hypoxia? What type of damage are you causing there? Well, it's hypoxic damage. I don't know exactly what it's repairing there. I can't tell you. The hypoxic damage, I guess, right? Will it donate its nuclei if protein synthesis exceeds its breakdown and you lift in the gym and there's a hypoxic event? It's a possibility because you're pushing that domain with protein synthesis exceeds its breakdown, you're lifting, it's activated, it's a possibility. I don't know, man. Science is not really clear on that issue. It's hard to say. Is that considered an adaptation? hypoxia? No. An adaptation is when muscles repair and remodel bigger and stronger. See what I mean? So I don't know. I can't tell you hypoxia is going to cause the domain to further. I really doubt it because these guys aren't getting any bigger. They get bigger through sarcoplasmic a lot. And so they too have to get muscle damage and adaptation, so forth and so on. They got to eat a lot, but they're eating the wrong foods, man.
Do so in the best fashion possible. Remember, we don't want you to get hurt. You perhaps can get away with it for several years, but eventually you're going to be injured and you're going to perhaps look back and say, why didn't I listen to Samson Dauda?
Let's see what kind of set I can get with the hundreds instead of the 150s.
And so rather than using the 150s next up, he's only going to be using the hundreds. He's taking Samson Dauda's advice. We're going to watch his set and see, does it make a difference?
Imagine me with this. Squeeze it. There we go. Right here. Squeeze it. There you go. That's better. Squeeze it. Nice. That's better. Contraction. Squeeze it. There you go.
Now, as I'm watching him do these reps, Samson wants him to squeeze his finger at the top, really squeeze at the top. I would be recommending that he goes even lower and pauses at the bottom. The bottom, in the deepest stretch position, that is going to be the hardest part of the exercise. And so imagine holding that for 1 or 2 seconds. The tension that will build up. No stretch reflex, eliminating that, and having to deliberately squeeze those muscles and pressing and holding, squeezing at the top. And slowly...
Yeah, the whole squeezing at the top, he's squeezing more glycogen into the muscle. That's why I tell him to squeeze at the top. He's not interested in the stretch at the bottom, Greg. You understand me? Because these guys are, it's bullshit. It's fake.
Lower that weight down, pause, press up harder than last time, and squeeze. Squeeze the chest in the middle. Imagine the chest development you can get.
Really, that's work. Again. Squeeze. And again. One more. Squeeze. Yep. There you go. Beautiful.
And notice he still reached failure. Notice he trained harder than last time. And notice it was only with the hundreds. And so did he really need the 150s? The hundreds looked perfect. Why are we using the 120s, the 140s, the 150s? And why even have a goal of the 200s? It's no purpose. He's not a power lifter. He's not entering in competition.
There's no purpose? Then why do they have him there? What is this powerlifting bullshit? Why is he trying to compare these bodybuilders with powerlifting? He's a fucking idiot.
He's not trying to beat out Larry Wheels. He wants to be a
Who gives a shit about Larry Wheels? He's weak.
bodybuilder. And so for the bodybuilders out there, if you're a fan of Sam Sulek, did I just shit on him in this video? Or did I tell him to listen to Samson Dauda's advice, of which I thought was perfect? He was excellent, explained it in detail. And so
I think Sam Sulek should learn on his own volition what's going to work for him.
if you haven't watched this video and you saw the title, oh, Coach Greg, Sam Sulek's living in your head. Run free. Or am I trying to...
You should never tell anybody how to lift weights ever in a gym. Unless, of course, they're doing something exorbitantly ridiculous with the weight that is not for that purpose. Maybe then you should give them a little bit of guidance because they're waiting for something going on there. But other than that, you should not tell people how to lift.
help you. Now, if you're looking for help in the gym and you're trying to stay natty, my favorite natty stack, GO2 Max for improved cardio, and Turk Builder.
Oh, of course, Turk Builder. Here we go, man. The phony steroids, yes.
For improved muscle building as well as more focus and power in the gym. You have to give this a try.
Yes, you get more focus and power in the gym because you could be more of a lifting gym slave than the last time. We have to make sure that you guys are all lifting gym slaves.
Research is clear. I know many of you are skeptical. If you are, don't get it. I'm telling you, it makes an amazing difference in my training.
It makes amazing difference. Even if it is phony muscles, it's okay. We'll help you. So you go to the gym and it feels like you're reaching your goals, even though you're not reaching them. They're all fake.
I absolutely recommend both GO2 Max and Turk Builder. If you're interested in any of these, head over to my website. Don't forget code Greg.
I'm heading there right now, Greg. Yes, I'm on it, man. Yeah, dude.
15% off.
When you think about that,
Oh my God, 15% off too, and the lift too as well.
and you realize you have to squeeze so much, you realize you don't actually need that much weight to actually feel that in the first place. Yeah.
Amazing. This is what you want to do. This is what recording videos is all about. And so you can watch people ego lifting in the gym, training harder than last time with blasting music in the background, heavy metal and so on, getting amped up. That's great. It's fine. But you can also watch somebody avoid ego lifting in the gym, avoiding injury and gaining greater muscle growth in the process. And so do you not think Sam Sulek appreciates that advice? Do you not think he agrees with him? him. He lightened the weight, got a great set. He realizes I can build just as
He doesn't agree with him. He's just coming along to get along. That's all. Sam Sulek is just like being nice.
much muscle in a safer environment by pushing a lighter weight. You're leaving your ego at the door because you have so much confidence that you don't need to show off how strong you are to the world. That takes a lot of courage, and so I urge all of you, the next time you go to the gym,
Yes, to have so much ego to show how fakely strong you are on steroids to the world. Look, I took a drug. Look what I could do with these steroids. What are you talking about, Greg? You're crazy.
stop thinking I have to set a PR, I have to lift more weight than ever before, and think I need to lift better than ever before.
Many questions to be answered. How much weight
He's in that world, man. He's in that world, the drug world, okay? He's like all the rest of them. What are you talking about, Greg?
is really necessary? I'm inclined to believe him. I mean, we should just get a good look at the two of us.
By looking at Samson Dauda and realizing he trains like that, he's thinking, probably don't need that much weight. Don't need to lift crazy heavy weights.
Yeah, just pump more of the sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, lifting light weights. Okay, sure, great. High volume training.
Lifting the gym.
That's what it is.
Look at Samson Dauda. Look at the development he has, and that's from squeezing with lighter weight.
I did a video on this already. Put it in, was the Blaha video. I talked about it, and I even put a sample in there. 6 weeks of myofibrillar training in trained young men is attributed to sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, okay? High volume training. That's what he's doing. High volume, lightweight.
He's leaving his ego at the door and truly understanding the purpose of the movement. And so let me know in the comments
I'm
section.
not saying that's a bad thing. Maybe that's great for these guys to look all big and puffy on stage, okay? Yeah. They're just doing it for it's their job. They're not doing it for something permanent. They're doing it for income purposes, for a job, for money. Yeah, so I guess that's the reason that's the reason they're doing that. They have to do that.
And have I convinced you? Have I taught you anything? Have you learned that perhaps you don't need to ego lift in the gym? Best video so far. You could see that Samson genuinely wanted to help Sam and wasn't just getting the content done for content's sake. Samson not want to blow smoke up Sam's ass like everyone else would be RN. What a guy. Samson is the right guy to tell Sam to bring the weight down. You can actually tell the difference of their form. And so let this be a lesson to you. You can in fact learn from somebody telling somebody that they're perhaps doing it wrong, to think about something different. If you're stuck in your head and don't think that you can do anything different, you're never going to change. And so the first thing you need to do to be willing to learn is you need to accept that other people have different ideas from your own, and rather than simply hating on someone, listen to
Yes, they have different ideas on their own. You should have many ideas. The more ideas you have, the better, Greg, yes.
them, have a debate, listen to their points, give it a try, think about it, and after analyze, thinking, critiquing it, you can then decide, is this information actually worth it? Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost your algorithm, like the video if you like it, don't forget to watch one
Yes, you could figure out whether this is for you or not.
of those two bloops. And of course, cookbooks, the Circle Diet book, the training books, all
Oh my God, he's got all the death books, the circle books, and the fake training book. Okay.
the books, PDF, hard copy, you can get it all on the website. All of the supplements, there's too many to name, as well as the clothing line, get it all there. There's also
The clothing line, there's also, what else is there?
free diet and training programs, up to 50 pages on my
Jesus, free training programs, this, that. Oh man, this is crazy, yeah. Gotta milk it for everything it's worth, Greg, yes. I'll see you in the next one. Tell what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, friends.